Good evening to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about G20 Summit, an important editorial. You may get something related to this either in prelims or mains as a passage, an important editorial. Let us start the session with editorial vocabulary. There are some important words and a few familiar words. What is the first one? Consensus. Part of speech, noun. Consensus, a general agreement, but there is a common error. That way, it is important from the exam point of view. Consensus means a general agreement. A lot of people say unanimous consensus. That is not right. Consensus as such unanimous. Then you cannot say unanimous consensus. That is a wrong combination. Am I audible? Hinge could be a noun, could be a verb. In this context, it is a verb to depend on. Hinge as a noun, if you take, imagine this is a door entrance and this is a door. The door is attached to the door entrance using two metal clips. As a noun, hinge means that to hold it. Thank you very much. To hold the door. But as a verb, to depend on. We have got this word. Truce usually goes with war. At the time of war, imagine two countries that have been fighting. At some point, they realize they have to take a break. Then they say truce, an agreement to stop fighting, especially temporarily. Fractures we have got for the first time, but fractures. It goes with a group or organization difficult to control or unruly. Unruly. Rely, you can also use that word. Egalitarian is an important word. Egalitarian, part of speech adjective. Usually it goes with society. Believing in or based on the principle that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities in a society. That is practically impossible. Egalitarian society is not a practical concept. Eminent, you have got many a time. I use a combination. Eminent scientist. Preeminent, surpassing all others, very distinguished in some way, something very important, and you can think of the word distinguished. Hamstring, it can be a noun, it can be a verb. In the context of the editorial, a verb. To limit the amount of something that can be done or the ability or power of someone to do. If you take your leg behind, there is a muscle called calf muscle. Calf has two different meanings. Calf, the young one of a cow is called calf, but calf muscle and hamstring, a type of muscle. If it is removed, then the person becomes a cripple. I've just used one word. What is it? Cripple. Cripple means not able to function, and cripple could be physical, cripple could be mental. Hamstring, it can be a noun, it can be a verb. Headwinds, obviously noun. A wind blowing in the opposite direction to the one you're moving in. You're going in this direction, opposite direction, wind. Then we say headwinds. Young one of a cow is called calf. Exacerbate, an important word they have given many a time. Banks, both banks and SSC. Already a situation is bad. Someone makes it worse, then we use the word exacerbate. To make something that is already bad even worse. Forge can be a positive word, can be a negative word. Forge, you all know the noun form, forgery. But here, forge as a verb, positive meaning, to suddenly and quickly move forward. Another meaning, to produce. Forge also means to produce, a positive connotation. Tenuous, we have got a few times, part of speech adjective. Weak and possibly does not exist, but actually we say a weak, tenuous argument, a weak argument. Sherpa, I'm sure you all know this goes with the Himalayas. A lot of people like mountaineering. When they want to conquer Mount Everest, they take the help of Sherpas. If you take Edmund Hillary, along with him, Tenzing Norgay, and Sherpa. But in this context, a different meaning altogether. An official who makes preparations or assists a government representative or important delegate at a summit meeting or conference. Whenever there is a summit meeting or a conference, obviously you expect delegates. If a particular person representing the government official, then he makes preparations or assists. We use the term Sherpa. Valiant, valor, adjective here. Very brave or bravely determined. Valor means bravery. Valiant, very brave. Colossal, we have got so many times, and related words are what? Colossal, mammoth, Herculean, enormous, huge, extremely large. Legacy also, very quite often we use the word G20 Sherpa. Legacy, something that is a part of your history, legacy that has been coming down generations together. Legacy, important word, though familiar. What is the tone of the passage? The tone of the passage can be described as a combination of informative, objective, and somewhat optimistic. Informative, providing information. Objective, not based on personal opinion, based on facts. And somewhat optimistic, positive attitude. It provides information about India's challenges and efforts during its G20 presidency in a straightforward and factual manner. That's why it is objective and informative. While it acknowledges the difficulties India faced, especially with geopolitical issues and tensions with China, it also presents a sense of optimism about India's attempts to build consensus and its focus on global South issues. Something positive. Opposite is pessimistic. How does it start? Building consensus means what? Bringing all the people onto the same platform so that everyone agrees. And trying to do that, then we say India is trying to build consensus on the G20 summit in Delhi, India's presidency. The main idea of this editorial, the success of the G20 summit hinges on, it takes a preposition on, focus, foci, very good. Hinges means what? Depends on a truce among fractious parties, unruly countries here. Parties means countries, difficult to control, and truce among them. Here it refers to indirectly, implied, Russia, China, those countries that are supporting Russia, and the group divided into those who are supporting the Ukraine, three groups. The countries supporting the Ukraine, the countries supporting Russia, and countries which have taken a neutral stand. India has taken a neutral stand. India's big moment, an important expression. Tomorrow you get the job. No, don't take literally tomorrow. Next year you get the job. Then it is going to be a big moment, your big moment. As host of the G20 summit will arrive this weekend. India's big moment as host of the G20 summit will arrive, future tense, this weekend as world leaders gather in New Delhi for the main event marking the year of its presidency. Here there's one important word, host, literal meaning. Imagine I throw a party. I am the host. You all come to the party. You are known as guests. Host, guests. But host, anchor, compare, MC, all one group, subtle differences. Today, if you watch a TV program, someone hosts the program, someone is the anchor. But the word compare goes with on stage. Imagine there is a fashion show. Someone takes the mic and talks about the show, the models, all that. The person is called compare. The capital letters MC stand for Master of Ceremonies. Same meaning, compare, but it goes with depends. People prefer the word MC, Master of Ceremonies. India's big moment as host of the G20 summit will arrive this weekend as world leaders gather in New Delhi for the main event marking the year of its presidency. The group is seen as a more egalitarian, believing all people are equal and they should have equal rights, everything should be equal, which is rather not practical. The group, an important word. Why is it important? It's a noun. Which type of noun is it? A collective noun. Immediately you have to recollect important examples like committee, jury, team, staff, group. And you have to recollect the two rules. Collective nouns usually take a singular verb, a singular pronoun. But if the sentence denotes division, a collective noun takes a plural verb and a plural pronoun. Here, the group is seen. We see the group, active voice, present tense. The group is seen by us, present tense, passive voice. Important pattern. The group is seen as a more egalitarian version of the G7. There are two groups right now. One is G7. It belongs to, represented by affluent countries. What is the meaning of the word affluent? A rich, affluent societies, affluent countries, G7. On the other hand, we have G20, which is more egalitarian, as it includes the leadership of the developing world. Now, what happens when you read the editorial? Some words look very simple, but there's so much behind each word. Here, there's one expression leadership of the developing world. If you take India, we use a term India is a developing country. We also say India is a third world country. So then you should wonder what is the first world, what is the second world, why India is called the third world. The first world is industrially developed capitalist countries like the US, the UK, France. Second world, industrially developed communist countries, former USSR, many European countries. And the third world to which we belong, either developing or underdeveloped Latin American countries, African countries, Asian countries. And many African countries are underdeveloped. And if you take Asian countries and Latin American or South American countries, they are developing. So India is a developing, belongs to the developing world, and it's a developing country, also called the third world country. I hope you guys got the meaning. The first world, the second world, the third world, and is now the preeminent forum. Above all, very important for something distinguished, preeminent. Eminent means distinguished. Generally, I give the combination eminent scientist, preeminent forum, platform for global economic cooperation. Something very important for global economic cooperation. At the start of its presidency last December, when did India's presidency start? Last December. Thanks for responding. At the start of its presidency last December, it was clear past. It was clear that India would be hamstrung by several events. Here would be hamstrung. It is in passive voice. Hamstring verb. What is a past form? Hamstring can be a noun, can be a verb. As a verb, hamstring, hamstrung, hamstrung. Would be hamstrung means would be controlled, restricted by several events. What are those events? The editorial lists out. The global economic headwinds in the form of recession. Right now, a few countries are experiencing recession. Then you may wonder what is the meaning of the word recession. Recession means low economic activity. The global economic headwinds exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, already bad, made it worse by the COVID 19 pandemic, meant a challenging environment for New Delhi in ensuring that all countries were willing to contribute. Whenever there is a platform, there is a group, they try to contribute so that problems at the global level can be sorted out. So, this sentence talks about the three problems. One is global economic headwinds, recession, exacerbated by the COVID 19 pandemic. Third one, these two, and one more is there, meant a challenging environment for New Delhi in ensuring that all countries were willing to contribute resources. Contribute resources for what? For imperatives, imperative means something important. I give the words important, vital, crucial. Imperatives such as climate finance and investment in health. After COVID, public health became a major topic, and poverty alleviation. Usually, the rich countries, now the developing countries also, they have to focus on poverty alleviation. That is something very important because in many underdeveloped countries, many people don't have food and they die because of, which is very unfortunate, die of starvation. No food, you get starved, and a person dies eventually. So, because of poverty, poverty alleviation. See what happens here initially when you start reading the Hindu, you may come across 15 effective words. As you keep reading, it becomes the number becomes 10, 5. What is the reason? They touch the same context. I have created this acronym and the same context, the same vocabulary. Here and there, later you come across one or two new words, but slowly almost all the words become familiar words. That is the best part of it. Poverty, penury, destitution, very good. I appreciate that. And alleviation, alleviate, assuage, mitigate, reduce, all these words you have to have at your fingertips. Lengthy sentence, but it talks about the problems and challenge. What is the challenge to ensure many countries are willing to contribute? Contribute for what? Important things such as climate finance, investment in health, public health, and poverty alleviation. Another problem, the Ukraine conflict and the sanctions against Russia were next. Another challenge. The Ukraine conflict and the sanctions against Russia were next, practically splitting the G20 down the middle. At the outset, I said now G20, there are three groups: pro Ukraine, pro Russia, and neutral. India has taken a neutral stand. So the group got divided down the middle, but three groups, not two groups. This made producing a joint statement even last year difficult. When the group is on the same platform without any discord, they can issue a joint statement. When the group is divided, you cannot expect a joint statement, and it did not happen. Even last year, it was difficult. But Indonesian President Joko Widodo was able to ensure a tenuous consensus, means weak, not very strong, consensus by traveling to Moscow and Kyiv and enlisting India's support. Some effort was made by the Indonesian president, and here was able to, an important thing. Once in SBI, they gave a question based on two helping verbs. One is could, the other one is was able to. Both have the same function, subtle difference. Could, one of the users used to express past ability. Was able to also used to express past ability, but more difficult. Past ability more difficult, was able to, and not that difficult, could. They gave a sentence like, he could walk 2 kilometers with a fractured leg. He could walk 2 kilometers with a fractured leg. Wrong. Because once you get a fractured leg, it is difficult to stand, forget about walking. If you walk also 2 kilometers, something very difficult. Because of that, the context talks about past ability more difficult. Then we should say he was able to walk a few kilometers with a fractured leg. Not easy under pressure. And common error, a lot of people say, I can able to. This is wrong and it's a common error. Please listen very carefully. Either you use can or able to. I can do that. I'm able to do that. But in the same clause, in the same sentence, don't use can and able to. That is wrong. A lot of people do that, a common error. So he tried to get the support consensus, but tenuous, weak. India's presidency also came amidst, means what? In the middle, continuing bilateral tensions with China over its border moves. Another tension India has along the border, bilateral tensions with China over its border moves. This has become an additional problem for India's G20 Sherpa team, those who try to receive the delegates and provide the facilities. As China has played present perfect spoiler at many a meeting. This is an important expression. In many bank exams, they have given questions based on the phrase many a. Many a is a phrase, and there's an important rule. What is that rule? The phrase many a takes a singular verb and a singular noun. A few exams have given many a birds have visited the sanctuary. Wrong. Many a bird has visited the sanctuary. That is right. Here you can say at many meetings, nothing wrong. At many a meeting, nothing wrong. The government's decision to hold the G20 summit 2 months early instead of in November. What is the due date? Actual date November, but they preponed 2 months early. That also caused a problem. The practice, usually in November, has given officials, present perfect, less time, obviously, to ensure that the leader's declaration is ready. Because of the time factor, the leader's joint statement or declaration not ready. Some of the heavy lifting on building consensus to create consensus will now be left again future to Prime Minister Narendra Modi to handle. The second part of the editorial, in the face of such odds, means chances are very bleak. Chances are odd means what? Chances are bleak. In the face of an important phrase and such odds, India's efforts to ensure the vitality, an important word, though we have got many a time. Vitality means what? Vigor, liveliness, vigor, energy. Vitality of the G20 process have been valiant. Here, a lot of students may think it is in passive voice. No, it is a present perfect tense, active voice. She has been a student. He has been a leader. So, have been, has been. Then you have a noun and adjective, active voice, valiant, brave, and also a well thought out one, important expression. Mr. Modi made it clear from the beginning that India would not take sides in the Ukraine conflict. From day one, the Prime Minister made it very clear. What is it? India would not take sides, it would remain neutral when it comes to the Ukraine conflict and instead focused on issues affecting the global south. Instead of taking a stand supporting either the Ukraine or Russia, India took a neutral stand and focused on issues affecting the global south. What are the issues? Holding a summit of developing countries, putting issues of food, fertilizer, and energy security, multilateral reform, and global governance above geopolitical issues. There are two things over here. One, deal with the social problems, economic problems. The other, deal with geopolitical issues. What does it mean, geopolitical issues? Related to the strategic studies, defense. So, geopolitical, related to war, the Ukraine conflict, and tensions along the border, did not considered other important issues. India even hosted the Voice of Global South Summit. That is also a good thing. Mr. Modi also championed. Champion usually, which part of speech is it? It's a noun, but here it is a regular verb. Means are promoted, advocated, supported, championed the induction of. Tomorrow you get the job, you will be inducted. First day you go to the office, someone receives you, and then the process of induction. The induction of the African Union into the G20, which will be a feather in India's cap. Feather in one's cap, an important idiom, it has been given many a time. Actually, it is a proverb. One more feather in your cap. Imagine there is a player, he has won two titles. Let's say a tennis player won the US Open, won the Wimbledon, and won the third one, the French Open. Then, after the third one, we say one more feather in his cap, means one more distinction, one more achievement, one more accomplishment. So it is going to be a feather in India's cap if it goes through, if it materializes. Internally, problems. The Indian G20 presidency has been marked by a distinct effort to democratize the process by holding 220 meetings across 60 Indian states. Internally, the Indian G20 presidency has been marked by a distinct effort to democratize something. How? By the process, a particular process. What is it? Holding 220 meetings across how many Indian cities? 60 Indian cities, which though colossally expensive. When you conduct 220 meetings across 60 cities, you have to spend a lot of money. Based on that, though colossally expensive, has ensured a showcasing of India's diversity. I'm sure you all know India is known as a country of unity in diversity. To show the diversity, it has ensured a showcasing of India's diversity, though it was a very expensive. Showcase can be a noun, can be a verb. India's G20 moment is already memorable, but the days ahead will be crucial. Future is going to be crucial, important, vital in cementing its legacy. Here, cementing means consolidating. In consolidating its legacy, that legacy depends on ensuring a truce. Main idea is being reiterated among its fractious members, difficult to control, unruly countries here. Truce among those countries that allows for a consensus over the vision. Once there is a truce among the countries, fractious countries, there is a possibility for a consensus over the vision. What is a vision? One earth, one family, one future in the next few days. An important editorial you have to read twice, thrice to understand the context and get the lexical terms. What are the possible questions based on this editorial to improve or enhance your reading comprehension skill? When and where is the G20 summit taking place? Easy to answer. What challenges did India face when it assumed the presidency of the G20? Easy to answer. How did Indonesian President Joko Widodo help in achieving consensus within the G20? What were his efforts? Ah, exactly. That's right. Who is that? Naidu Paidi. Wonderful. What key points did Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasize during India's G20 presidency? What steps did India take to democratize? An important question. The G20 process internally, colossally expensive. So you have to look at that sentence and write. That's all about today's editorial. And today I have brought some new questions, practice questions. We'll begin with the regular pattern error location. After that, you have fillers and close test, a new pattern. So let us start the session. Practice questions based on exam topic error location. Rather easy. You should get 4 or 5. Should not be that difficult. Few, nothing, a few. Few means hardly anything, almost nothing. A few, at least some. The few, the specific, whatever is there. Very good. Yes, Anusha, yesterday also I saw your message, but immediately you deleted. Give me, I'm hard pressed for time, to be very frank, hectic schedule. And this Hindu also, in spite of a tight schedule, hectic schedule, I'm squeezing in time to do this session. I will try to. Please give me some time. These recently upgraded branch offices have been fully computerized and are connected to headquarters to ensure proper monitoring. This is rather challenging. You got to read very carefully. These recently upgraded branch offices have been fully computerized. Present perfect passive voice. Have been computerized. Fully adverb. Have been fully computerized. Which part? First you tell me. First, second, third, fourth. Or no error. Listen very carefully. No one has responded. Perhaps it's a bit difficult to answer this. Here we have branch offices, a subject, have been plural, and we are talking about the same branch offices plural verb. Then we don't have to repeat the verb. If it is a different subject, you have to use, or you have to mention the verb. But same have, then here you're not supposed to use are. They have been computerized and have been connected to headquarters. We don't have to repeat have been. It should be without are. No, no, no. It should be without are. The correct sentence: these recently upgraded branch offices have been fully computerized and connected. Have been fully computerized and connected to headquarters. To ensure proper monitoring, we don't have to use the primary auxiliary be, the plural form. There is an error in the third part. With no governmental control and least regard for the environment, the private waste processing industry poses a threat to public safety in India. This is not easy. You got to read meticulously. With no governmental control and least regard for the environment, the private waste processing industry poses a threat to public safety in India. I don't see the response. Haven't seen yet. Question number two, how come no one has responded? Should not take this long. At least one student. Second part. What is wrong with the second part? Venkatesh Rama. You got it right, but what is wrong with the second part? With no governmental control, nothing wrong. The private waste processing industry poses a threat to public safety in India. There's an error in the second part. What is wrong with? No, second part, right. Skip, Nagesh. Here, and the least regard, you have to say, with no governmental control and the least regard for the environment. You have to use a definite article the. That is missing. Not easy under pressure. A radical environmentalist stormed into the Discovery Channel's headquarters with explosives strapped for his body. Ah, Hema has got it right. The least. Suresh also. Third one is easy. Anusha also. The least. The least. Manasa. Yes. Please go to question number three. Question number three. Here you have to. Why should we use the? With no governmental control and least regard for the environment. We have to emphasize the least regard. It talks about specific quality, specific situation. There are two dimensions: no governmental control and the least regard. He has the least regard. That's a standard phrase. I will give one sentence. He has the least regard for someone or something. This is a standard expression. Based on that, the least regard, you have to consider that. Usually takes the helping verb, have or has. Strapped for his body or on his body. Here you can use two prepositions. To his body or on his body. Both are right. Strapped to his body, strapped on his body. Both are absolutely no problem. But you cannot use for. Question is based on prepositional combination. Inappropriate preposition, that's right. Thank you, Venkatesh Rama. Many of the today's employees are suffering from an emotional recession. This is something funny. Never heard of this. Because they haven't found sufficient meaning in their work lives. This is again challenging, not easy. Many of the today's employees, nothing wrong here, are suffering. Present continuous, no problem. Suffering from what? Suffer takes, though exceptions are there, the preposition from. An emotional recession. Usually, recession goes with what? Means low economic activity. It happens once in 15 years, begins in the west, comes to the east, then the cycle is over. Please mention the question number 4. Work lives. No, they work lives. Work life, no problem. You got to consider the verb. Complete clause you have to read. Then only then you can spot the error. They haven't found sufficient meaning. They haven't found sufficient meaning to their work lives. What is the preposition here? No, Ganesh, there is an error. They haven't, start from here. They haven't found sufficient meaning to. Sufficient meaning to what? To their work lives. Here, not in. You have to use a preposition to. Based on the verb found. He has found a meaning to his life. That's what we say. Not easy, that's what I said. Now, listen to me. Here you have two blanks and two pairs of words based on contextual awareness, based on grammar knowledge. You have to choose a correct pair. Context, you have to find meaning to something. Boat managed to reach the bank of the river with the help of the lifeboats. Who is this, Suresh? Not that easy, Suresh. Capsized, they managed to reach the bank of the river, drowned, then they cannot reach. That means a tough question, tough questions today. No, no, no. Don't be so hasty. Not the first one. Because as the boat capsized, capsize is the right word. Means what? Turn upside down. Turn upside down. We also say turn turtle. That is an idiomatic expression. Capsized, turn upside down, turn turtle, they all mean the same. You can use a first word, but based on the context, fortunately managed to reach the bank of the river, you cannot use the word drowned. If they get drowned, how can they reach the bank of the river? As a boat fell, boat does not fall, we fall. As a boat dropped, the boat does not drop. Deceased, it goes with persons, a wrong combination. Deceased means what? Deceased person, a dead person. As the boat sank, all those on board fortunately managed to reach the bank of the river safely. How? With the help of the lifeboats. Answer is the fifth option. Very good. I appreciate those who chose the fifth option. Don't be hasty. Read the sentence, understand the context, then you think of the options. Ashima, her team with a lot of skill and the increase in the sales by the team is a measure of her success. All these are based on contextual awareness. Casualties are, yes, deceased. Why no response for the second one? I see Pandu says second, third option. Naidu also says, Thapa says, Ganesh, Anusha. Very good. Ashima dominates her team. Dominating a team is not leadership qualities. And success, you cannot use a negative word like poor. Condemns a negative word. Context is positive. Manages. Ashima manages her team with a lot of skill and expertise, and the significant increase in the sales by the team is a measure of her success. Perfect. Directs can be used. A negative word like worthless cannot be used based on the context. Overpowers negative word. Exceptional. No. Answer is the third option. Very good. Go to the next one. On being asked for the passport, he, to his dismay, means shock, that he had to bring it along with him to the airport. On being asked for the passport, he shocked. No, he was shocked would have been better. He realized. Oh, I want you guys to respond, then I will explain. Please mention. Sudhir says third option, Madhav also third, Tripura Sundari third, Hema third, Satish third. No, no, this is for the third question. Suresh, Nagesh, Anusha, Thapa. He realized to his dismay, shock, that he had forgotten to bring it along with him to the airport. Seems right, but you have to check. He pleaded to his dismay. Plead means request, not correct. He understood. You can use, but he had lost. No. Context talks about forgetting. Recognize does not go with the context. So, what is the answer? Realized that he forgot. Helen quickly, the career ladder, and is now the managing director the company has ever appointed an important expression. Helen quickly, what? The clue for you, ladder. I'm sure you all know the meaning of ladder. I hope it looks like a ladder. Career ladder, corporate. Jumped the career ladder? No. Context is positive. Shortest? No. Entered the career ladder. Oldest? It is something positive, outstanding. Started? Junior most? No. Helen quickly climbed. You climb a ladder and is now the youngest managing director the company has ever appointed. Perfect. Ascended the career ladder can be used, but you cannot say now the inexperienced MD. That is impossible. So, what is the answer here? Fourth option is the answer. A famous economist says that the government should do more to jobs in the area in order to curb, control, restrict the rate of unemployment. Easy. Inexperienced, naive. Very good. Oh, wonderful. Venkateshwarama, greenhorn, seasoned, opposite, experienced. First option. Who is this? Madhav, Nagesh, Pawan Kumar, Suresh. A famous economist says that the government should do more to create jobs in the area in order to curb the rising prices. Seems right. Hold that one. Need, do more to need, you cannot use. Employ, you cannot use. You don't invent, you create jobs. Generate can be used, but not the slowing rate. Then why should they? Answer is the first option. Now listen very carefully. I had to reduce the font size. I will underline three words. Here you have it's a close test new pattern. You have a short paragraph and there are three words in bold, here different color. Down for each one, there are three words. You have to choose either one of the options, or if all can be used, you have to choose the fourth option. Who is this? Uh, rise, rose, risen, raise, raised. First, you have to look at the word validated. Understand the context. Whether you can use one option or you can use all options. The concerns regarding the functioning of the Congress raised by 23 of its senior leaders appear to have been validated by the hostility generated against them. Enmity, antagonistic attitude. Validated. Can you use in place of validated? Proved, vindicated, justified. If you think all the three can be used, you have to choose a fourth option. 1C, that means justified. The concerns regarding the functioning of the Congress raised by 23 of its senior leaders appear to have been validated by the hostility generated against them. Answer here: all. Proved, vindicated, justified. D is the answer. Hema is the first one to get it right. All can be used. Proved by the hostility, vindicated by the hostility, justified by the hostility. Then the second word, coterie. What are the words you can use? Foes means enemies, friends and foes, inner circle. No, all the three words can be used. Based on that, the answer is D, all. Second one, D. What is D? None. Let others also respond. But D is not the answer. Hema got it right. It is C. Coterie means inner circle. That is exact meaning of that. If you take a VIP, the prime minister, the party president, there is an inner circle. That inner circle, based on the context, justify different meaning, Pandu. But based on the context, you can use all the three. Proved, vindicated. Vindicate means to prove. Justify. In a way, it is correct. Proved to be correct. Don't take the literal meaning. Based on the context, you can say, appear to have been proved, appear to have been vindicated, appear to have been justified. But generally, the word vindicated goes with a legal case, a legal problem. Justify goes with your actions. Prove is a simple word. Here, answer is a C. That is the exact meaning. Other words cannot be used. Go to the third one, de facto. What does it mean? There are two terms which are very important. One is DEJURE. The other one, DEFACTO. Here we have de facto. Answer is in fact. Fact, no. Factual, no. In theory, no. De jure means in theory. Who is the de facto head of the country? The prime minister. De jure head of the country, the president. Continuation of the same paragraph. Here you have two words, crumbling. While the Congress is crumbling, the BJP is advancing its contentious agenda. So what are the words you can use in place of crumbling? First you touch the word crumbling. While the Congress is crumbling, disintegrating, bulldoze level collapse. You have to consider grammar as well, the word form. Answer, you cannot use bulldoze, you cannot use level. Collapsing would have been right, but grammatically you cannot not correct. And subtle difference between disintegrate and collapse. Collapse happens one time. Disintegrate slowly, slowly, slowly. Based on that, the answer is the first option. And contentious agenda. Contentious means what? Controversial. You cannot use the word friendly. Dispute. Dispute noun. Here agenda noun. You need an adjective. Argument noun. So what is the answer? Controversial agenda. Contentious agenda. I hope. How do you find these challenging or not challenging? Let us go to editorial vocabulary consolidation. Write the part of speech, write the meaning key word. You don't have to write the complete meaning. Keywords enough. Petulant, petulant behavior. If one student responds, then I'll tick that word. Who got those all the three correct? All the five correct, anyone? Cloze test. Second question, what is the second question? Which topic? Are you talking about cloze test? Second question, please be specific, Anusha. Are you talking about cloze test to second question? Which second question? Or are you talking about fillers? Are you talking about error location? Which one are you talking about? Inner circle. Inner circle means, see, there's one word here. Whenever we talk about a particular party, the top people, today, if you take, usually this, the media has used this with the Congress party many a time. If you take the Congress party, Sonia, Rahul, don't consider Priyanka. And for party leaders, not easy to access, approach these two top leaders, top brass. In between, there's a group. If a party leader from the south or from the west or east or north wants to meet Sonia or Rahul, they have to meet these people first. Only then they get access to either Sonia or Rahul. And Sonia and Rahul, they discuss all important issues only with this particular group. That group is called inner circle. Inner circle. Better word, coterie. I hope you got it. Petulant, yes, Madhav, first one to respond, very good. Petulant part of speech is what? Adjective. Means what? To get annoyed within no time and complain like a child. Intimidate means what? Frighten. Intimidation noun, intimidate verb. To frighten someone. Venture. Where is this inappropriate? Where is the article? No, nothing wrong. If you take the word coterie, you have to say a. Appropriate article. Venkateshwarama. Nothing wrong with this. Don't decide based on the meaning. It is a paragraph, so nothing wrong with the article, a coterie, but the inner circle. When you use this, the article has to be changed. As such, no problem there. Venture, business venture, a particular activity which is risky. Guild, also noun, a group of people with same activities or similar interests. Belligerent, an important word. Belligerent behavior. Part of speech adjective. What does it mean? Aggressive, ready to attack. New activity also you can say. New activity which is risky. Breakout, phrasal verb, an important one that too. What does it mean? Go between two levels. Break out. Start suddenly. Ready to argue, ready to attack, ready to aggressive. Bellicose, an important word. Very good. Partisan, part of speech, adjective. Partisan, view, behavior, stand. What does it mean? Start suddenly. That's right. Strongly supporting a particular principle or person or party. Provoke, a regular verb. You should also recollect an important word, incite. Another important word, instigate. Make someone angry or cause someone to behave in an angry manner. Yes, incite, an important word. Ascertain, to make something certain. To make, very good. Ascertain, also a verb. Spell, an important word. Dry spell means noun. A time period that lasts for some time. No rains for some time, then we say dry spell. But spell as a verb, tell, spell out. Spell out is a phrasal verb. Please spell it out. And common error, spell it out in detail. Spell out means tell in detail. You cannot say in detail. That is redundancy. Passion means what? Passion. Passionate, adjective. Passion. He has a passion to learn the subject. Strong emotion. Strong emotion. And deleterious, an important word. Adjective. Deleterious impact. Deleterious effect. Harmful. Wonderful. Imputation, noun. Allegation, accusation. Say someone has done something wrong without proof. Fervor also you can use. That's all for today. I hope you guys have got enriched. Thanks for being with me till the fag end of the session. Do remember to subscribe and share. I'll see you guys. Actually, last 2 weeks, I did not take the sessions on Saturdays because of the tight schedule. Tomorrow also, I'm not quite sure. If you see the notification, then you be prepared for the session. Otherwise, no. Monday to Friday, at least this month, hectic schedule.